Your voice of choice for a new generation of Tri-Cities sports fans, where the name of the program is Tri-Cities Sports Now, and we own the Tri-Cities on 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities. Today, we're going to talk about the baseball draft. Red Shanding's passed away. You know, myself, an old baseball guy. I'll talk a little bit about that. I am going to, obviously there's going to be a lot of a heavy baseball theme on today's program, but I want to begin talking a little bit about football, and specifically what we may be carrying here on 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities come the fall. And we would like your listener feedback from that. You see, Jason Witten moving to the booth from the Dallas Cowboys, we here at 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities are looking ahead to football season and considering programming opportunities. Now, last season, we carried the Dallas Cowboys games on our airwaves on 1420. Years ago, they had been on WXIS. But with Witten's retirement, carrying the Cowboys games is not as desirable as it once was to the average Tri-Citian. So station management is considering what teams to carry in the fall. Now, as you probably know, if you've listened to the show, I'm counterculture, right? I like to go against the grain. I like to, say what the other people aren't saying that needs to be said. Some counterculture. And what could be more counterculture in East Tennessee than carrying the Florida Gators games? There is the draw of historically being the team of Steve Spurrier. By the way, if you missed it, do follow our interview. You can watch it on the 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities Facebook page. There is the draw of them historically being the team of Steve Spurrier, though he isn't with the Gators any longer, except for, he's got an advisory role, but he's going to be the new coach of the Orlando team in the AAFC. By the way, the Birmingham team announced some, the All-American Football Alliance. So what is that? The American Football Alliance, the AFA. Or is it the American Alliance of Football? One of the two new spring leagues that are starting up. The one that may be doomed to failure because all the franchises are going to be owned by the league. That generally doesn't work out. Anyway, but Steve Spurrier will be coaching that Orlando team in the Alliance. Let's put it that way. Now, remember WEMB years ago, he once carried Georgia Tech, presumably because of the legacy of Kingsport's Bobby Dodd and John Robert Bell. Of course, we were carrying them 30 years after they had anything to do with the Georgia Tech program. But what about the Florida Gators? Kind of the counterculture station and sports radio around here, why not carry them? Or what about the Vanderbilt Commodores? They're counterculture as well. Now, they lack a Northeast Tennessee affiliate, but they've defeated the Vols 4 out of 6 seasons. And I wouldn't put it past them to make it 5 out of 7, with Kyle Shermer calling the shots and the game next year being in Nashville. I brought up to the management of the station the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, which would be on Sunday, obviously. Now, I know the risk of sounding biased when I mention the Steelers, but the Steelers are a nationally popular team. Most popular team in Washington County, Virginia. That's Bristol's county. That's according to Facebook. Moreover, the Steelers have plenty of players with local ties. Cody Sensabaugh from Kingsport, Josh Dobbs, Ramon Foster, Justin Hunter, Dan McCullers, Cam Sutton, and Kendall Vickers all used to play in Big Orange Country. Yeah, they're all former Tennessee Volunteers. Parker Collins comes from Appalachian State. Terrell Edmonds and Ryan Malik from Virginia Tech. Now, it's likely that not all those players are going to be on the Steelers once they kick it off in September, but they're all on the roster right now. And frankly, having covered the Steelers and working with everyone there, including longtime play-by-play voice Bill Hillgrove, we could also incorporate coverage of these players with Tri-Cities Sports Now. But the question is, do you have a preference? Would your business like to sponsor any of these teams' games or others not mentioned? Would you as a fan like to hear a team's games that are not carried by one of our competitors? And the place to let us know, two places. Our Facebook page, if you have not followed 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities on Facebook, it's time that you do, because, you know, you can watch the show archived here, the interviews that I do. Now, my commentaries and a lot of today's show will be on my own personal Facebook page, but nevertheless. The other thing, we've got a business line, as you know. Contact Maria True, 423-743-6123. That's 423-743-6123. Now, I mean, this is a money-making business, you know, but the idea is, what team or teams would you like to carry? Now, I know a lot of people say, what about Tennessee? What about ETSU? You know, the only thing there is that they generally have affiliates already in the area, and a lot of times there are requirements as to, let's say, what an affiliate can do. So in other words, another station has the Tri-Cities, let's say. Well, they don't want to lose their cut of the audience. And so what we're looking to do is find a team or broadcast that are equally as appealing as, say, the Vols, which may be difficult, or ETSU. I mean, those are the home teams. And then our own niche place for those fans. Like I said, last year covering the Cowboys, and that got some publicity, but what about the Steelers this year? You know, that sort of thing. And again, what about Florida? What about Vanderbilt? What about other teams? You know, Signal gets into North Carolina, Tar Heels, Wolfpack, that sort of thing. Possibly Appalachian State. I'd have to check and see if and where Virginia Tech is carried, but that would be, you know, possibility with the graduates in the market who have gone to Virginia Tech. But, you know, and just whoever. I mean, you know, we are looking at some changes, or maybe, you know, the Cowboys, but again, it takes moolah, takes coin. And so therefore we ask you, and I would love to hear from you at 423-743-6124. I do have the Greenville Reds t-shirt to get away if you have a preference. Who would you like to listen to? Who would you like to sponsor? That sort of thing. Anyway, on today's show, there was a lot of baseball news. Steve Spurrier is in the news again. Yes, you heard me. He's in the news again. Like I said, there's but the baseball draft, I think that's where we need to go right now. Some local players, could be future major leaguers. There'll be future minor leaguers. I'll tell you who they are, where they could go when Tri-Cities Sports Now comes back after this.
For a day, licensed, bonded.